Welcome to this look at a new mod map to Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. This is the Breton countryside, otherwise known as Breton, Brittany, and often referred to as Little Britain, or throughout history it has. Great Britain being one side of the English Channel, and Brittany being on the other side of the English Channel. It's in the north west of France, sticks out a little bit. Now this map is by Mael-LTA, 597.44 megabytes download, which seems like a fairly high megabyte download when you consider the map isn't very big, but what it lacks in size it more than makes up for in detail and immersion. We've got some extra crop types on this one as well. If we scroll across one, we've got alfalfa, clover and alfalfa seed. As far as those crop types are concerned, alfalfa seed can be planted with a regular seeder and it can be harvested with a regular header, and that's like a crop. So alfalfa seed can be sold. If we go down to here, right down to the bottom, you'll see alfalfa seed. So there's a price there at the sell point Triskel, so you can sell the alfalfa seed. As far as alfalfa and clover go, you can use them as a cover crop, so you can plant them and you can cultivate them in as a cover crop. You can use them as a grass, so you can mow them. You can ted them to make hay, so the alfalfa, alfalfa hay, clover and clover hay can also be used to feed the animals. There's also on this map canola straw, so when you're doing canola you can leave a straw swath behind on canola as well for extra straw if you want to. I'm going to cut to two clips. One of them is doing a clover harvest, mowing the clover and then tedding it, and the second one is the alfalfa. It can be baled as well if you want to, but what I'll do before I do that, if we go into build mode and go to the animals, if you look down on the right hand side under cows, you'll see that as well as the total mix ration hay and grass, you have got the alfalfa, the clover and the hay versions of each of those can be fed to them. Horses as well, we can do alfalfa hay. Sheep, both, whether it be standard or hay. Chickens, wasn't anything else. Yeah, so we can do it. I'm going to cut those clips now. Right then, so slot count 858 on new farmer. Farm manager and start from scratch 730. Big difference being, I know there'll be a screenshot in a second, that you don't start with on farm manager and start from scratch any of the vehicles and machinery. You don't start, there's a cow barn there, we've got sleep trigger farmhouse behind us, you don't start with any of that. There's a chicken coop over there, you don't start with that. So and you don't start with the silage clamp either, so the yard's fairly empty. That shed and that one is still there, but everything else is gone, and it will look a little bit like this. Now I will say already, like I say, that there's a gritty realism to this one. It has a feel of the old Stream Farm, Calmsden a little bit. There's that level of detail on it, which I'm really into. I like it a lot. So sleep trigger just here, wardrobe trigger just there. If you want to shoot some hoops, you absolutely can. We've got a workshop trigger just there, and our start machinery there's not much of. We've got the Fendt Favret, we've got a herbicide or liquid fertilizer sprayer. Front weight, we've got our top liner and header just there. Then we've got the steyr with a small baler on the back. That's about it. Hang on, check around the side. Silage clamp just there. Mine's completely blanked. More storage, and then we've got chicken coop here for 40 chickens. Now I'm sure when I came on here initially there was a dog, and the dog ran out around here and ran off back into the bushes. Now it could have been a deer, I might have imagined it, but I couldn't find. I must have imagined it. What? How bizarre is that? Maybe the cows are playing hide and seek or something, I don't know. So I wasn't expecting to find that. Yeah, I can't find... Oh, maybe it was a deer. So I can't find a dog kennel. I could have sworn it was a dog. Anyway, cow barn just over here. Now these aren't standard in-game ones. So if you come onto your farm manager and start from scratch and these aren't here, this particular one you can't replace. We'll go through the mods put in by the map maker in a moment. We'll jump over here. Cow pen, cow barn will hold 60 with water trough, feed triggers, slurry point I think is around the side, manure heap to the back, just there. So as far as mods put in by the map maker, if we go into here, no, into there, and we go down, there we go, mods and DLCs, we've got a broken tyre and a sandbag. So if you want to simulate putting those onto your silage clamp when you've got the cover on, you can. You don't have to. And then if we go into build mode, under build mode we've only got a couple actually. Under silos we've got the silage clamp and we've got the manure heap. And under silo extensions you've got a manure heap extension. Then under farmhouse we've got the farmhouse, which then can be replaced. And then we have also got under... is that under production? Yes. At the end we've got a biogas plant, BGA 32 kilowatt. Like I said, under animals there's no animal pens put in. Nothing under decoration, nothing under landscaping, other than the fact you can use other crop types to feed your animals. So that's all that bit done. Does those collectibles? The map then, let's go to the map. Field prices, there's a lot of fields, they're all fairly small and they're not very expensive. That's one of the bigger ones there for 71 grand, 72 grand, and then you kind of, you know, this is not a big machinery map by any stretch of the imagination. The roads are very narrow. When I said it's immersive, it's very French driving. They hoon along like absolute lunatics. You can purchase the verges, the periphery, for 15.6 million if you want to. They can be purchased. Now there is one problem we will discover as we go around the map, and I will show you it when we get there. But this is another one of those maps that, I don't know, it's not necessarily just pretty. Of course it's functional, but I don't know, I really like the layout, the immersive feel to it. You know, sometimes you get on a map and it will say it's set in the USA, it's set in a particular country, and you try to drive around and you don't necessarily get that feel that it is. This 100%, 100%. The signs, the signposts, the buildings, the traffic, the road layout, all of it just smacks at that. So it's not going to take us too long to get around the map. There's some other little features, and I see, you know, this does narrow into the town. Like I said, the traffic is very French, so you have to be quite wary. But again, the level of detail, the sound effects, there's people talking, water flowing as you go around. All sorts going on. Like that, someone just sit on the wall, little old Citroen there. So, down alongside the river. Some of the fields do have fences round, but not all of them. Trees, as you can see, do overhang a fair bit. But it's also little things like the trees leaning over like that. Like you often get like willows and stuff like that kind of lean over the river or depend on the bank. It just, I don't know, it works. It works really well. So, round to the machinery store, vehicle shop, and there's another workshop trigger just here. Again, I love all the ivy, the growing plants. It doesn't feel like, look, here's a new vehicle store. This garage has been here a long time, you know. Workshop trigger on the side. This is also the reset point just here as well. Now what I did find, because this is on a slope, when I did those two little clips of mowing the alfalfa and the clover, when I spawned the mower kept spawning and falling backwards onto its 3-point link, so I couldn't connect it. You might find that with smaller equipment, just something to be aware of when you're spawning things there. We go down the hill to Les Toissons, which is I think the fleeces or the spinnery. This is a spinnery. Now this is fixed in place and not your standard, I say it's standard but not a standard building, but this is a production chain. So Les Toissons, just here. Click on that. We can buy it for £1 or €1 or $1, depending on what you're set on. Once you've purchased it, I think the recipes are fairly standard. So the recipes, but the production is fairly standard. Wool and cotton in, fabric out for our spinnery just here. There are 3 farms. The first one we started at that has the cows and the chickens. There's one which is just a farm, which would be more for your arable, cereal crop type things. And there's one that's got horses. We will get to all 3 of those. They're not expensive. I might have to put a little bit of money in. I'm just trying to think how much they were now. We might not have to. There's little tracks and lanes and stuff all over the place. Like I say, it's the signposts. Everything just makes it really work. The traffic does not hang about. So, up here, and this is another bit, these poster signs on the side of the building. I love it. So, into this, which is farm number 2, depends on which way around you go the map. So we are currently, we came from the farm, out through the little village there, out here to the vehicle shop and down to the spinnery. We've come back up and we're now here at this point. This little plot here will set us back 19,392. We buy that. Do that. We get a little silo trigger come up, fuel, and there's another workshop trigger just here. So workshop trigger, fuel point just there. Now there's a silo, but I'm not sure this isn't available in the build mode. What the capacity? I don't imagine it's that big. Can I go in there? Doesn't seem to want to let me go any further than that. Got a few old buildings. So that's technically farm number 2. Anything comes while I'm backing out that way. Carrying on. And this is where we come to the slight issue. I think the map may well get an update. Returning just here, we come to the sawmill, which can also be purchased for £1, €1 or $1. I would say euro. Yeah. But here's the issue. Someone's gone a bit crazy with the chain link fencing. They've done it on a roll and they've just rolled it right the way across because they've opened the gate. Unfortunately, the chain link fencing and the barbed wire across the top doesn't go, so you can't actually get through. You can't get in with a vehicle. You can get into the side. There's a little gap, which I don't think is supposed to be there, but we can get through the gap. And as I said, you can buy it for one unit of currency, and it's fairly standard. Wood in, planks and wood chip out, lumber there. Assuming, of course, you can get in, of course. So yeah, that I'm assuming that will need to get sorted and removed. Unfortunately, this plot of land is part of the periphery of the map, which is like 15 point something million. Potentially, if you buy the outside of the map, you may get the option to remove fencing. I wouldn't have thought so. As far as I can tell, a lot of the buildings are fixed in place. From here, we'll continue along. Another lovely little village here. I'm gonna just jump out the car and go through because it's just, look at it. Where's the church? I'm sure there's a church here. Oh yeah, we go. Look. I think there's one in the other village as well, but. Nice. Jump back in the pickup. So from here, turning just here. And this is the horse farm. There is a fuel point just to the left there. We drive through. Out the back of here, there we go. So we are now, we came across the top there, sawmill, the little village. We're now at this point here. To buy that plot there will cost you 36,648 if we do that. And that, you'll see that our horse trigger comes up. This does 12 horses. Yep, 12 horses. Now, once you've purchased this plot, you can remove this horse barn, but again, that's not available in the build mode. So if you like that particular style and you think it fits nicely, you might not want to remove it. None of the other buildings here at this farm can be removed, but that can be if you want to remove that. You might want to put a different one on. Of course, that's entirely up to you. And then from here, carry on down the map, heading south. Let's put the map back open, there we go. So this turning just here, which brings us into some sell points. So we've got the Triskel sell point, which are these two under this building here. We've got Bale Sales, which is just there. And then we've got Dairy sell point. Now that's a sell point, not a production chain, so dairy sell point just there. To the side there is where our small biogas plant, the 32 kilowatt one, is. So we go back to our map, we've come down here. So this little plot there, 56, 5,520, we can purchase that and do that. And then our triggers and stuff will come up for our little biogas plant here. Fairly standard with things that go in and what comes out. Now, I suppose the one, let's say the one downside, I mean you might personally find other downsides or things you like or dislike or whatever about any map. Because of the terrain, because of the sweeping nature, because of the small fields, because of the way it's laid out and the cost of the exterior versus periphery of the map, adding new production chains or different production chains may prove trickier. There are some areas where the ground is fairly flat, and if you want to buy it up and landscape it and flatten it out a bit more, it's not impossible to put production chains down. I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit trickier than on some maps where you've got placeable areas kind of already there, good to go kind of thing, you know what I mean? So, from here, we head back round to the little village we drove out of first of all. Actually, I think I might be able to cut across here. Does that just take us? Oh, I might be able to. Because the farm is just there. Rather than go back up to the village. Go over the post there. Ah. Little tie up. Oh, this is interesting. Little pond. Well, you might want to start off here. Have a little tent or a sleep trigger. But anyway, that's the map. That's the Breton countryside by Mael-LTA. Mael-LTA. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.